Oh, I didn't see you there. I was too busy enjoying my golden brand golden tea while wearing my golden outfit. But now that you're here, I guess it's time to talk about the fact that I'm riding an Elder Dragon. The Elder of El Dorado. Kulve Taroth herself, Katie, has finally hit PC along with her beautiful meta-defining armor and her fantastic relic weapons. Well, I mean, I guess she comes with the weapons if you can get them. Yeah, sorry to tell you this if you didn't know it already, but the weapons are one of the most RNG systems in all of Monster Hunter. But how do you deal with Kulve Taroth's more abstract mechanics? How does this fight actually function? Are there any specific skills or weapons that you should bring to it? How do the rewards actually work? Well, first off, while you can do this hunt with just the 4 people you can actively see on the screen, the most efficient way to do this, aside from a well-coordinated strike team that can defeat it at Pursuit Level 1, is to join a full-ass lobby. The main reasons for this are Pursuit and Reward level. When Pursuit level is higher, Kulve Taroth takes more damage and spends more time on the map. This is raised by anyone in the session picking up a track or a golden chip. In a fully public lobby, the most efficient strategy is to run 4 quests of people picking up tracks until Area 2, drop out, and then 4 quests of people going for the finish. This way you all raise each other's pursuit levels and benefit off of each other, all accomplishing your goals as one big family.
There's always room for family.
Reward level. The other reason to group up defines the rewards you get at the end of the siege. The best rewards in the form of gold boxes are gained at reward level 14, with minor upgrades of silver boxes and bronze boxes being increased up to level 17. Reward levels go up for every milestone achieved during the hunts in your session. This includes reaching new areas or just general part breaks. If another group in your session reaches one of those milestones before you, you will get partial points. But if you still complete it after, you will get the remaining points needed to fill it out as if you'd just done it yourself in the first place. This is simply a slight benefit to hunting in a full session that you won't necessarily need. Oh no, fuck, not this again!
Are you tired of regular old small game?
I sure am!
Well, I've got some great news for you!
Oh boy!
The caverns of El Dorado are chock full of brand new creatures for you to casually watch, catch, or even slaughter by the hundreds.
I like the sound of this. Charisse!
What, Cotton?
Charisse, we need to film an episode of Small Game Hunter in the Caverns of El Dorado.
What?
Small Game Hunter in the Caverns of El Dorado.
Why do you keep whispering the actual relevant information?
Because, Charisse, it sounds cool.
Wait, did you say the Caverns of El Dorado?
The Caverns of El Dorado.
Why?
Well, Charisse, let me tell you, there are golden fucking crabs, and golden fucking gadgalakas, and theoretically even a golden snake. Not that I've ever seen it before.
So, just because it's gold? Wait, haven't we been to the Caverns of El Dorado before?
God, Charisse, that was on console. This is on PC!
Yeah, that doesn't really change anything.
Oh, yeah, okay, you're right.
Am I even still a part of this advertisement?
No, you're not. Oh, fuck, thank God, that guy is done talking. His voice is so damn annoying. Alright then, I hope your information processors are ready to work at full capacity because we have essentially just gone over the parts of the fight that aren't actually at the forefront of any hunts. Until now, right at this second, at the end of this very, very long sentence when I will switch to telling you about the goings-on and the best strategies to take inside of the hunt, and the sentence will end now. The easiest way to explain what is happening is to go through it one phase at a time, but first there are a few general things to consider. Kulve Taroth takes double damage from bombs, meaning if you have a manner of sleeping her, you can do some absolutely apocalyptic damage to her. In order to maximize rewards, you should do your best to break each of her parts once throughout this siege. These breaks include both sides of her tail mantle, both hind legs, both forelegs, both sides of her chest, the tail itself underneath the mantle, chipping her giant horns, and then the full horn break itself. You don't need to break them all every hunt. Just accumulate the breaks between however many hunts it takes you to finish the siege as a whole. While the final goal of the hunt is breaking the horns, horn damage done before phase 3 does not count for anything once you've gotten the horns chip part break. Before that, it does count just a little.
The two ways to trigger Phase 3 are to brute force it and do a ton of damage, or the smart and effective way, which is to have 5 of the aforementioned parts, except for the horn plating, broken at any one time within Area 3. Another very unique and very cool mechanic with Katie is when she gets enraged, her mantle will go molten, essentially leading to the whole thing becoming one absolutely massive weak point, which does trigger weakness exploit for melee weapons, but not for ranged for whatever reason, and just about doubles the damage you do to her. If you happen to mount Kulve Taroth, she will always go enraged. Essentially, a mount is a forced extra damage phase. Now to talk about the individual parts of the fight, there are 4 areas, within which there are 3 phases. The first area and the first phase is Katie just sort of walking around the caves, letting you do whatever you want, giving just a tiny retaliation once in a while, sort of like if she was a human swatting at a fly. Because honestly, you are just a fly, you goddamn maggot.
You are all maggots!
For the most part during this phase, you will just be beating the ever-loving crap out of her in a general way, trying to break each of the individual parts. So until Phase 3, we'll just be playing the game pretty much normally, or at least as normally as you can against a monster of this size, while using every bit of advantage, either status or environmental, that we have. Speaking of which, you can both paralyze and sleep call for free damage periods, and you don't even have to bring a weapon with that status equipped. If you have done a single hunt of the KT Siege, then you will know just how fucking annoying these bastards are! However, they do count as regular Gachaleka as far as their loot tables go, and as such they drop throwing knives. All you have to do is carry some sleep herbs or parashrooms, or grab some from the surrounding areas, and you can make yourself some sweet-ass status knives and up your chances of a successful siege. That said, you should absolutely save these knives, or any status application area items that you bring, for the final phase. And no, Commander, traps won't work.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
On top of the statuses, you want to take hefty advantage of the environmental tools, such as potentially the cannons, but more importantly, all of these droppable rock bridges around the first area. Slinger ammo or range shots will break it, and if it hits Katie, she will fall over for some free damage. Speaking of free damage, Kulve Taroth will also fall over if at any point during the hunt you manage to break off her golden horn plating, which you should, as it can be carved for more weapon changes and just general Kulve materials. In Area 2, you enter the second phase of the fight, which will stick all the way through Area 3 as well. This is where you should leave the hunt if you are simply trying to farm tracks to get higher pursuit levels, as doing any damage here doesn't really achieve anything for you that you can't achieve in the next hunt. This stage of Katie's existence will be the bulk of your actual fight with her, and in this phase, Katie will decide that you aren't just a damn fly, you are a full-on fucking bee buzzing the shit out of her ear.
Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees!
And fight you back to her fullest capability, using everything from roly-poly slides to massive fuck-off molten golden waterfalls. And they are just as deadly as they are absolutely gorgeous, just like her. Sorry, we have a lot of history, okay?
Goat-horned Jagras monster.
In Area 2, you are given the gift of potential mounts. There are 3 different ledges, multiple areas to slide, and a large number of wedge beetles hanging from the ceiling. It would be an understatement to say that this area was designed with mounts in mind, which you should take full advantage of and make her light up like an old western Christmas tree for some bonus damage. When she moves to Area 3, you are given the gorgeous and glorious use of 3 droppable stalactites. Yes, I did use the right one. I fucking looked it up, motherfuckers! These stalactites will do a large chunk of damage and knock her the fuck out. Not literally a KO, though, I guess. She just sort of falls over and squirms a touch. Once you've done enough damage, and this woman can take an absolute beating. Not in that way. We aren't having a domestic, though I was married to Kulve Taroth for a short period of time.
You never know when you're going to come across your greatest love.
Anyways, if you make Katie shed her beautiful molten mantle either by brute forcing it through the damage or by effectively doing it with 5 broken parts at the same time in Area 3, then she will reveal her true form as the Queen of the Jagras. Yeah, she is essentially just a giant golden Jagras, and to be honest, it is both hilarious and awesome. To finish off Area 3 and Phase 2, as she enters both the final area and phase of her fight, she will pull off one of the most beautiful sights in the entire game as she straight up melts down an entire wall made of gold, only to invite you to her bedroom, even if it is only so she can murder the crap out of you just a little bit harder. In this room, there are 3 things to note. First off, and the thing that will cause you a surprising amount of stress, are the little tiny roof droppings. You can see where they're going to fall ahead of time, so if you are paying attention you can avoid them, but they just add this one more thing to watch for during the fight. The second importance in this room, if you somehow are that oblivious that you haven't noticed it yet, is the giant ass spire in the middle of the room. This is usable as a wall jumping tool, and you can and should use it for mounts. The third thing to take a look at is that Kulve Taroth's tail is now both visible and damageable, and of course her tail is one of the parts that you can break for reward points. And not only that, it's one of the biggest chunks of reward points you can possibly get. If you are completely confident that you will have the time, this is the only phase that you can break that part, and so you should go for it. However, if you're worried she might try and scurry off before you can break her short and curlies, excuse me? Her horns. I am obviously talking about her horns, you fucking perverts.
You disgust me.
The entire objective of the siege as a whole is to break Kulve Taroth's horns, but unfortunately any damage you have done to them up to this point, past chipping the horns, has only really counted towards her overall health pool. However, in this third phase, it is all about the horns, but the horns no treble, which is why you want to mount her, as surprisingly it can be a little bit difficult to hit the nail, or the hammer, or the dual blades, of the sword and shield, or any other small weapon really, on the head, just because of how damn tall she is. During this final phase, she will full-on attack you just like the previous ones, with the only real difference on that front being that she no longer has the mantle. So some of her attack hitboxes are a little bit different, and in fact she as a whole is much faster as she no longer has a massive pile of gold weighing her down. Kulve Taroth's horns have a base of 45,000 HP, but this goes down by almost half for each pursuit level, which considering this room has a somewhat tight time limit is a very useful mechanic. Now to talk about some more specific strategies for Kulve Taroth, we'll start with some considerations for your builds. First off, let's talk about Part Breaker. If you are one of those smart cookies who has heard all of my talk about breaking parts and killing the monster not actually being the objective, then you have probably come to the conclusion that Part Breaker would be absolutely amazing in this fight, and it is, for the most part. While Kulve Taroth has her mantle on, Part Breaker works exactly how you would expect. It absolutely ruins her itty-bitty bits and generates you a crazy amount of reward points while you're at it, all while pushing you closer to removing Kulve Taroth's beautiful golden cloak. However, if you think you're really smart and are relying on Part Breaker to make the final phase of the fight easier, I have some bad news for you. Part Breaker does not do increased damage to Kulve Taroth's horns, which honestly is reasonable from a balance perspective. While this would be both a logical and cool interaction, the fight would have to be completable without Part Breaker, which means with Part Breaker on all 4 hunters, it would be absolutely hilariously easy. So no, this just doesn't work on the horns. Bombardier is an awesome skill for the fight as well. I mentioned earlier that Kulve takes double damage from barrel bombs, so taking advantage of this and filling your unused slots with upping the damage of bombs even more is just a no-brainer. The next consideration is weaknesses, which you would think should be simple as hell, but the only thing obvious about Monster Hunter is the content of the game based on his name. Kulve Taroth's weaknesses change depending on whether she is currently wearing the mantle or not, with her largest weaknesses being Thunder while mantled, which is pretty reasonable when you consider how good a conductor Gold is, and then Ice when unmantled, which also makes sense as she is damn hot. Oh yeah. Regardless of what the weakness is at the time, you should know these weaknesses are completely bonkers. Surprisingly good here is the light bowgun specifically, as a rapid-fire elemental burst can do a ridiculous amount of damage to a specific part. Her elemental hit zones are crazy high, and for pure efficiency's sake, you should do your best to take advantage of this if you are using a weapon that is strong with the elements. However, if your weapon is better without elements, you need to be aware of that. Don't be the overeager idiot who brings a Thunder Greatsword when you can stick with the classics.
Oh, rocket powered, great sword. Sorry, what? Did you say something?
As for why you should do this hunt, I already mentioned the rewards on a very basic level and how you attain them, but honestly, the armor is ridiculously good. The stats, the crit boost that you can achieve so much easier now, the decoration slots, they're amazing, and that is before you even get to the weapons. Unfortunately, if you happen to be one of the unlucky few where your new best weapon comes from Katie, you may be at it for a ludicrously long time. The stats you see on screen show just how sad it really is for people with said goals. There are 362 relic weapons in the Kulve pool, and if you are looking for one specific one, you're gonna have a bit of a rough time getting it. The full list of weapons you can receive will be in the description, but the absolute standouts as far as meta, min-maxing builds go are the Taroth Arrow Thunder, Taroth Strong Arm Horn, Taroth Daggers Ice, Taroth Buster Water, Taroth Assault Glutton, Taroth Glaive Paralysis, Taroth Crest Claw, Taroth Blitz Shot and Pierce, Taroth Axe Paralysis, and last but not least, the Taroth Slicer Water. Special thanks go here to Hex, who data mined the ever-loving hell out of Kulve Taroth for months after her release, and is the main source of the community's knowledge about her, to be completely honest. To wrap this up, you do want to fight Kulve Taroth if you care about having a good build or even just for fashion. Pursuit level is important for general farm, though finishing on Pursuit 1 is possible. Focus on breaking general parts until Area 4, at which point focus the horns. Have 5 parts broken and do a ton of damage to remove her mantle in Area 3 and push Area 4. These are the environmental traps. Kulve Taroth takes double damage from bombs and essentially double damage when enraged, as well as turning her entire body into one big weak spot. She takes a ton of thunder damage while mantled and a ton of ice damage while not. Save your statuses for the final phase. Breaking horns is the toughest part of this siege. Now, everyone, go out into the world, the Monster Hunter world, the Monster Hunter world, and remove Kulve Taroth's clothes! And break her horns, I guess, if you want rewards. Please, send me pictures. Alright everybody, I've been Cotton Dinosaur. Like if you liked the video, subscribe and hit the little notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.